R. Liram,
Yes.
and Jerry Haw.
And missing is Sarah Stevenson. Okay.
Sarah Stevenson absent.
All righty. The agenda is in front of you, gentlemen. It was transmitted to you earlier last week. Didn't get any feedback from Peter. Thank you. And that was, his stuff was added. Is there anything that needs to be added? Or are there any questions about the agenda that we're going to go forward with tonight?
Nope.
All righty. Now it's time for you, Mr. Rosga. You can come up and tell us what you want to do.
The City of Manistee has a non-motorized park at 55.
Could you speak into the microphone? We have to record this
Okay.
public meeting. Thank you.
The City of Manistee has a place off of 55, and it's a non-motorized trail park and stuff, and they have a trail there that's named after my brother, in remembrance of my brother John, memorial. And I was wondering if I could plant a tree of life in remembrance of my brother Bob, who passed away 2 weeks ago, on that trail. And I just need permission to do it. I would, my brothers and all that would help it, water it, we'll do whatever, but I just want to have permission to do it. And we're thinking of a native Manistee tree, you know, and stuff like that, possibly maybe even a chestnut tree, which there was abundance of them earlier, you know, while I was here. So I just asked for permission.
Again, I see no problem with that, but what we'd really like you to do is plant a tree that's on our list, and you can rename it.
Right.
On mine?
The projector won't turn on.
I'll do whatever you guys say.
Yeah. What we want to do, how can we get that? You say you don't have access to the.
I don't have, I just got this, you know, I'm
Understood.
older than you think.
We could get his mailing address and
Yeah.
Katie could mail a copy.
Could you leave Katie with your email,
Sure.
your mailing address,
Not my email, no.
mail address, and we will get you that information. And
What type of tree were you thinking in your own mind?
Well, first I want to see, and my thing was be the old chestnut tree, you know, because on my property where I have now, they're thriving because the disease is not there, and the chestnut trees, you know, they're not accessible to all the diseases they once had. Because when we were young, at least when I was in Manistee, there was chestnuts all over. Trees, and now there's not. So I was thinking that might be suitable out there.
And if I could interject, I think that the trees that are on that approved list are really concentrated towards the right-of-way, the boulevards, between the sidewalk and the street. And I think that those trees were selected, number one, that they're native to Michigan, number two, that they adapt and grow well, but they're also don't, you know, there's things like they don't impede the sight distance for vehicles. They're not necessarily a dirty tree, if you will. So I think when you've got a park setting like that, I think you've got more discretion on species. And I'm not the tree expert, but I would suggest that you've got a little more discretion on that. And then, you know, that's a very wooded park, and that's the natural asset that's there. So personally, I wouldn't see any issue with this.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have a problem with a chestnut either. Is that a Native American chestnut? Yeah.
Same-
I have
same here.
No problem with that either. It's just like Jeff is saying, the chestnuts growing in town here, they're very dirty and stuff, they drop all that stuff, and I've got one around the corner from where I live. And when it's time to drop, it drops stuff on the streets and everything else.
Now,
You are, again, let's leave it to your family that way.
Okay?
What I appreciate is just give you my email address. If you would, just email me with what you, it's right at the bottom.
so
You or somebody email me and just let me know what species of tree you're going to plant.
Right.
You know,
Unless you guys recommend something else too. I mean, it's got
I think
a
that,
big, massive area with the oaks and the beeches in there.
yeah, so if you don't mind, I have a couple comments and questions. Would your intention be to some way mark that tree or identify it?
We could, if I did that, I would ask for permission also for that too, like maybe a little plaque or something, you know.
Well, that park, when that park was created, first of all, it was state land that the DNR transferred or gave a public use title to the city, and a lot of land out there, there's 600 acres out in that area that came from the state. And I believe it was originally intended for the uses of building an airport. And then when Black Air Airport was built at its current location, the land just kind of sat vacant, if you will. Portions of it were, the title was cleared up with the state, and we built an industrial park. There's plans for possibly some future industry out there. The parcel where the non-motorized is separated from the other segments. And when the city was managing the timber out there, we hired a forester who who went through the property, made recommendations, and that property was select cut for timber, and the city received the monetary value of that. Interestingly, the trail system that's out there, we basically went out and surveyed where the logging trails were, and then connected the logging trails to make loops, and then added some more and stuff. So my point is, at some point that could be and probably would be forested again, and I would hate for a memorial tree to be cut down. So if there was some way that it was identified, or maybe even a different species that wouldn't be susceptible of that. I'm thinking 30, 40, 50 years down the road, but
I could have that done.
yeah,
And then it opens up the doors for other people.
Sure.
For, everything. You don't get money for flowers anymore. It's a waste of money for a funeral.
yeah, and
That's how these trees are been coming about, where you plant a tree of life, in remembrance of your loved one. And I just felt it would maybe open up a door.
yeah. So it's probably been 9-10 years ago, but we had a lot of discussions with the Tree Commission back then and the Parks Commission about creating a memorial forest. And after a lot of internal reflection and discussion, it was decided that that was not the best idea, because if you have a tree that's growing in remembrance of somebody and that tree dies, and it dies because it got damaged by a lawnmower, or the kid's cutting grass, or it didn't get watered, and that could create a lot of hardship. So the city went away from that. But I think in an isolated situation like this, and obviously it's the right environment, but I still don't have any objection. I'm just trying to bring up
That's a great point.
some past history knowledge.
We need to know that if someone comes to us and says, I want to put a tree in Douglas Park, for example.
Yeah,
That. But you go ahead, I say, just go ahead. Just let me know before you buy it, what kind of tree or what your species is. And then, I'll probably just say, yeah, go ahead, okay?
Okay. Now, I don't have to get the names of the trees and everything from you? You want my address or no?
He doesn't need
Probably
that.
don't.
No.
Chestnut
No, but I'll
tree.
take,
Plant chestnut.
But I gotta talk
Have to, just let us know
yeah, okay.
if you finally decide, you and the family
I
decide.
gotta talk,
I think on the list, if I recall right, there was a red maple, that was a crimson red maple, and some crab apples, crab trees.
okay.
That's what was on the mouse list.
Yep, I just gotta talk to my family, you know how that goes. When there's like 20 people involved, it's like, oh boy.
You take that out.
That's on you.
I thank you for your time,
Yeah, well, you got it.
and I'll get back with you. And thank
Take
you
care.
for the education that
Yeah.
you had over there.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right. The minutes from our meeting of May 13th are in front of you. Are there any changes, additions, corrections to our minutes from May 13th? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. All right, we're moving into unfinished business. Folks, we do need to continue to recruit members for this organization.
I've been trying.
I know. Gordy, that came and talked to you last month, I saw him again on Saturday, and I'm really putting the screws to him, and said, maybe, I don't know, but bottom line is, he's a dedicated, he was planting stuff in the median down on First Street.
Today.
Today, too?
I think
They
he
were
was-
watering them today, yeah.
I think he was down there.
I met with him last week and encouraged him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
For some reason, he feels this is a political
all right.
organization, and I'll probably apologize. It might be my, me being active in a Democratic Party could be causing that, and
It might be, John, it might be.
And I
I'm not
told
gonna
him-
discount that at all. But he was here last week and we had a good discussion with him and so on last time he was here. And he said, I'll consult and I'll do this stuff, but I just don't wanna get involved with a meeting.
yeah. So,
Then there was another person here that,
Barry
Barry Peterson.
Peterson, he was,
Larry Peterson, yeah.
We
he'd
were
be,
trying to talk him into it.
I talked with him and,
Talked to him Wednesday at the golf course. Put me in his foursome.
hey, we're gonna play at I did tell you that,
At the short course.
yeah. But, yeah,
Well, bottom line is, Peter, you were talking to Jamie Catlett?
Yes,
And boy, she'd be welcome here too, if she's got the time.
she's saying that she's busy with a couple of other committees, I think locally. But she might still be willing to join us maybe in the fall.
Well, let's do this, let's just continue our.
Leave it open.
course. Nothing works better than a face-to-face, person-to-person ask. So we need to get two more folks at least, so we can not worry about having a quorum to get
Right.
stuff done, okay? Anything else about the members? Hearing none, Sam, you want to update us a little bit on the inventory project?
yeah, I've been in contact with, the big thing right now, we got everything set to be inventoried, with the GIS. That's easy to do, but it's difficult to get people, to work on it, especially this time of year. Anyway, I talked with this Josh, you might know him, Swinson. He's a great guy, he really is. He's part of that environmental action.
Yep.
Manistee Environmental Action Group. And we talked for quite a while. And his ideas, what he's into, they really would collaborate with us, I think, quite nicely, especially with the biodiversity that we're thinking about, in the medians and, the butterfly gardens and, places around Manistee that could be turned into something much more than just a blank space. So he's willing to work with that and maybe collaborate with us, and that would probably be good.
He's a relatively new organization in the county
Yeah.
that he's trying to start.
Yes.
What a great opportunity, in my opinion, to give them something to do that's meaningful,
Absolutely.
and
I
think
agree.
if we sell it that way to him, in my opinion, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I would, because he's so environmentally conscious, he would be probably a good member, possibly for this group. Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge is he lives in Mason County.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. Now, does he have, if they have, you would know this, Jeff, if they live out of the city limits, but if they have a residence of some sort here in Manistee, could they still be on a commission, like the tree commission?
I'd have to look at your bylaws that defines the qualifications to be a member. Some of the various commissions, if you have property or interest, and like the parks even has, if your child attends a school in the community, and there's different, I don't know what yours says specifically, but we could look that up.
Josh, I'm pretty sure, knowing our bylaws, as much as I'd love to have him on this board with us, he just wouldn't qualify right now.
Yeah.
You don't have anything like that with you, do
He could still collaborate with us on
Absolutely.
biodiversity. I think that's a big one.
If you had a business in the city, you'd qualify.
He's happily retired,
Okay.
so.
I talked to Betty Oswell, Spirit of the Woods. Well, tried to get a hold of her. I've left messages. I haven't actually talked with her. And also Beth Markowski, Garden Club. they're active in doing, volunteer work, but that's their work. Maybe that could be in collaboration with maybe with some of the things, our goals. I talked to Renee at the Conservation District, and we've been emailing back and forth, and offhand, she doesn't know of any groups. The best that I had was at the high school.
Yep.
And I talked with Andy this spring, and I got a hold of Amanda, I forget her last name. She's the head of the NHS.
Yep.
And she put out to all of the NHS, my email and what I was looking for. I never heard from anyone. And that's in May, and they're done at that point.
I actually was approached by a couple of young people that are going to be rising seniors in Manistee High on the Honor Society, and they're
Yeah.
very excited to continue the work.
Yeah, I know that in the fall.
So-
When we get them in the fall, we've got them for a couple of months that they can get out and they can work with us.
But we can't get them in the summertime, Sam?
Well, part of the challenge in the summertime is they're all either working
Yeah.
or,
Well, if they're not 18, they're not.
Sports takes up a lot of summertime.
It does.
Which is more important?
Beach,
I might
sports,
Beach.
vacation.
be able to get some kids from the advanced science classes, especially the AP Bio or environmental classes. They would be probably willing. I knew Kevin Postma at the high school. I know him real well, but he's retired. So
We've had 2 Eagle Scouts come before the Parks Commission and propose projects to get, merit badges and so forth. Maybe, and I remember probably 15 years ago, we did a sidewalk inventory and the Eagle Scouts helped us with that. Maybe that would be an option.
that's the next thing, is Boy Scout Troop 167 here in town.
okay, I'll check with them.
The Elks sponsors them.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know there was any Boy Scouts left in town.
Oh, yeah. Not as strong as
Boy Scouts Troop what?
167 at the Elks. The Elks is the
Okay.
charter organization.
I'll
Isn't there one
talk.
that's chartered by Lynx out there?
Not that I'm aware.
Because they do have a can drive all the time for them out there.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's one and the same or not.
I'll see. I'll get a hold of them and I'll find that out.
I wouldn't limit it to the Eagle Scouts. It'd be a great Eagle Scout
I agree.
thing, but at all levels of scouting, they have to do community service. Okay, and so this would be a great thing for the troop to do.
Right.
Obviously, if it were an Eagle Scout project, what an Eagle Scout project is a young man that's doing this to get his Eagle Award. He has to organize it, he has to
Right.
put all the resources together, and then he has to make sure it gets done. And a lot of times it's building something, we're building a bench or something.
Mhm.
But this, I think, this would be a great project.
It would be a great project.
Yeah.
My last thought on this, until we can get more individuals, probably in the fall when I get kids, or if I hear from any of these, I'll let you know. Maybe we as members do one block a month or something like that. I think we probably should at least do that. It's our big project, one of our big projects. And it's a simple one to do. Yeah. So,
All right, well, thank you.
that's all I got.
Sam, thank you very much. Let's just keep plugging away.
Yeah.
Mis-
Any
Miss-
other unfinished business anybody's aware of?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
before you move on to your next item, Katie was able to find the section of your bylaws
Oh,
that addresses membership. It states the members shall represent a cross-section of the resident population of the city. 2 members may be non-residents of the city, but who own real estate within the city. or own a business or profession having licensed business location within the city.
Okay.
So you have the option with two of those members to either have, operate a business or have real estate ownership. Thank you.
And Josh, the person we were talking about, I know him very well. He's not any of those, so.
Right, but still good information as you're talking to people and recruiting, so.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the next business. I want to just say, Vitor, I just want to thank you right now for the hard work you've done in putting this grant request, getting it started and going for it. A lot of good work that you've already done, and I'm going to turn the floor over to you and tell us what we need to do and what we need to do next.
Yes, so I have looked at two possibilities. One is from the grant from DTE, the gas company, and the other one is from Consumers Energy.
Are they both in here?
No.
This is consumers only?
Yeah.
Okay.
DTE has not come out with the information for this year yet. They're coming out with that in July. So that the deadline will be later. And I can follow up on that if you want me to.
Please.
So the Consumers Energy grant is, the application is due July 12th. And I just went ahead and there is a sample application online. I just used that, put together this as a start, and then hopefully Jeff will follow up on it, or it needs to go to the city administrator, I guess, so that we can get that sent out. Unless you have questions or other proposals. But just explain a little bit of background on this. I first looked at, it was really when we had that event on Earth Day, where we planted a tree. I thought, well, there's a lot of opportunity to plant trees between the residential and the industrial. So I started out with that. I did two alternatives. I think I sent it over to you guys. And then I talked to Jamie Catlett, who is now moved to Maxwell Town, well connected in the community. And she said there had been talk about really trying to get something going in what they call the heart of Maxwell Town, which is basically the area around the Painted Lady and sandwich shop. So she walked with me one day, and we walked up and down these two blocks here from, I don't know if you know, I can say that correctly, but Kosciuszko Street and High Street. So this is on 8th Street. And it so happens that by planting 15 trees there, we can make that a tree-lined street that's complete, including two new trees that Jamie planted through this year's program.
Okay.
So that is the proposal right now. Like I said, the application template is very strict in a way, and it's helpful. So it asked for this table, and I just put in 15 locations, because the 15 trees is what they will finance with $3,000. The rest the city will have to come up with. So the $3,000, it's not a lot of money, but it's money. And that would be, we would then plant 15 trees. Now, I see this as fairly preliminary, since it's an application. If we get the money, we can have, say, the arborist review it, maybe make changes. We can then start talking to neighbors, the homeowners, and inform them and so forth. I did put in there's a couple of fields here we have to fill in estimated start date and end date. So I said August 15 start, we're done by October 15. Well, I hope that's all right. I should have some other ideas. The map that you have copy of, unfortunately, it's black and white, but you can, I think you can see the black triangles are the arrowheads. And the color version has red dots for the trees. Up on the, but you get an idea that 15 trees will fill in.
And your pictures that you include.
This picture right here.
Yeah, and the pictures show them, and that's also required that you show
Yep,
each location.
You've got a number by them too, you know, on this,
yeah.
each
Yeah.
of those has a number there, and I presume that's the tree location.
Yeah, that refers to that table.
15, right?
Yeah,
Refers to
table.
This,
3.
this is good, and
Here.
I see it very clearly in the pictures that
Right.
you've included too, the need
2.
for,
You count them up.
trees.
Yeah, yeah, right here. You just look at
Yeah.
them here.
Yeah, so that,
2 and
hopefully that was helpful, that this is the thing I can do. And
This
I'm
is-
happy to do the same thing for the next one.
Great.
I see there is another handout here.
Well, I'm just before we move on from this, I'm reading Jeff's mind, and it's a short story, no. I'm reading his mind, he's saying, we've got to connect with the homeowners, with the property owners, when we get the money, if we get the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do not want, just to plant trees there and have them not be watered, not be taken care of.
Right.
I can't imagine, somebody saying, oh, hell no. But the other challenge we might have is, there might be people not capable of doing it, that are of an age, they're not able to go out of their home much. But I think it's a great idea. I think this is, really good. So I just wanted to, we're not expecting the city to,
I do have a short list, like you said, but yeah, when you do projects like this, and in any group, myself and every department, the first thing is to define what the project is and what your goals are and what the benefits to the community are. And I think that what Vidar's put together does that, right? So if you guys believe that that is a good project and you vote to support that, then before we actually apply for a grant or any grant, we need to know what the match money would be. And then I've got to identify where that money is going to come from. And then I have to get permission from city council to do that. We have successfully applied for and received a DTE grant in the past. And I think we planted 10 trees in the parks. Most of them were at Duffy Park, if I recall, maybe 8 to 10. I think the grant we received was like $1,000 and out of pocket was $7,000 or $8,000. So it helped, but it was, was not a kind of a home run. The match money in particular, we have to know what that dollar amount is. And this tree money, when it's planted in the street right-of-way, comes out of the street funds. So we don't have a line item for that right now. Actually, the line item we have for tree planting, you guys have doubled, what we had in the past, so, which is wonderful. I mean, we've gone from, under 20 trees to over mid-40s now. But the council's going to have to weigh in on that because it does take away from other street priorities. And then I always come back to that, the current program works so well right now because we put the bags out and people want them. They ask for them, they invest a little bit of their money into them, and they keep them watered. So when you've got a project like this, we need a plan on how they're going to get watered, at least for that first year, maybe two. There is some sort of a community Maxwell Town group that started having their own parades and doing kind of promotions of the businesses in that area and then the historic value. I don't know if it's just like an ad hoc group. I don't think it's it may I don't know, maybe formal, maybe not. But, maybe Jamie or somebody like that, or the owner of the Painted Lady, maybe one of those business owners would know, and maybe they would be willing to participate in that and even write letters of support for the project and so forth. And then the last thing that I'll mention is that 2 hours ago, I received an email from the state of Michigan that Eagle put out on a new, I don't remember what it's called. Katie gave you copies of that email, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's another new program, and I think Vidar had referred to this one in the past, but it looks like it got refunded.
Yeah,
So that's something that we could look into too, or look into also.
just if I may just answer that, or comment on the cost. Now, so if we get this, we get $3,000 for 15 trees. That's $200 per tree. You know what? we
Yeah, they're
pay for
about,
that tree.
yeah, they're a little over 300 a tree, so
Yeah, so-
say roughly 1,500 to 1,800 would be the match.
Maybe would be the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my question also, this match money, is that how you develop that match money we're talking about? Match money will be coming from your department or the city?
It would come out of the street department, yeah.
Okay, so when this goes in and we get the 3,000, then we want this higher price tree or something like that, because we can always buy a cheaper tree, and do the $3,000 for the 21 trees. But we really don't want to do that. We want a healthy tree and a good-looking tree to go in there to begin with.
Yeah, and with the water bag and all.
Well, I think the numbers we're talking about are just what we paid in the last bid,
No problem with that.
and they're just a little over 300 now.
No problem with that. That's very good.
So quite frankly, I think, $1,800 isn't gonna, I can't, that's not a significant amount of money. It's not gonna stop one of our paving projects or something like that.
Well, how about that? Never mind, keep going.
Wait, what street did you live on, sir?
Never get-
That one
Cedar
got-
Street will never get,
Yeah, that one got
Yeah.
delayed a little bit now. No, but those things do have a cumulative effect, and, but I would think that the community would support that.
so what I hear you say, and this is due on July 12th, so our approval at this meeting kind of puts the ball in your court, or do you need anything more from us?
I would need to take it to council the first meeting of July then,
Okay,
yeah.
which would be second Tuesday? It wouldn't be the Tuesday before.
It would be July 2nd.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. And you need any of us at that meeting for support, or?
I think that is always better when it's presented by you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do the write-up and stuff,
Yep.
but if they have questions,
Okay.
yeah, I think you guys could explain it.
Peter, are you comfortable doing something like that?
I am comfortable, but unfortunately, I'm not in town that day.
Okay. We'll cover for you.
Do you recall, does it need any specific resolution, or, I didn't look through the grant details, but if there's a certain resolution or wording or pledge, I want to make sure that I've got that. And we don't have to answer that tonight, but,
Not that I know of, but it says on page 2 that applicant name, applicant signature, and date. And somewhere it said that it should be signed by the arborist, but that might be something else. It looks like this could be signed by the city
City manager?
manager.
Yeah.
Or would it be
Or the mayor.
signed by you?
typically when I write these up, I have the mayor and the clerk sign them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then it's very official.
yeah.
But the July 2nd is not a problem. If you guys recommend submittal of this, I need to have it submitted a week in advance, and it takes me just a couple hours to put it together.
So we need a motion from the floor to support this project, Consumers Energy Forestry Operations Grant request. I can't make it as the,
I make the motion.
okay, can you state it so Katie can get it down?
I can second it.
Okay, but state the motion.
I would like to motion that we, what is it we're motioning? The wording, what kind of wording are you?
Apply to DTE,
Okay.
or I'm sorry, to the Consumers Energy
Yeah. To,
Forestry Operations, and then name your project.
yeah,
The project would be the Maxwell Town.
would be the Maxwell Town project. So it would be to make a motion to work with consumers on our Maxwell Town project and planting 15 trees that we could get,
I think an easier way to say it would be support the grant.
support the grant, yes.
Grant application, yes.
Okay, in a second, any discussion?
Matter seconded.
Would you call the roll, Katie?
John Helge,
Yes?
Vidar Liram,
Yes,
Sam Corum,
Yes.
Jerry Ha.
Yes.
Unanimous? Okay, that passes. Thank you. See this other Department of Natural Resources information? Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that to our attention.
Is that Eagle? No, is that talking about Eagle?
Michigan Department of Natural Resources.
Is that Eagle?
No?
Somebody?
Oh, I misstated that, sorry. It's DNR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Eagle and DNR were the same thing.
So this one, we missed the June 13th 1-hour webinar to tell us how to do it. But we are eligible for it. We're a local unit of government. They can apply for reimbursement grants of $10,000 to $225,000 to conduct urban forest-related activities.
Oh,
Directly benefit disadvantaged areas of Michigan, okay? And the project must be completed by September 1st, 2026. I think we can handle that. That's 2 years out.
yeah.
When are they?
The,
August 31st, right?
August 31st.
Accepting grant applications through August 31st. So,
they probably, we can probably get to that webinar. They usually record it and make it available. The webinar,
yeah,
even if it's past,
yeah.
usually you can get
Available.
a copy of it, or you can get,
But again, let's, you want to go after that one a little bit, just to look and see what?
At a minimum, I would see if we could fund our tree planting program
Yeah.
with this.
yeah.
Because if we ask city council to allocate money towards a new project, but we come back and we make a grant application to help reduce the financial burden on the city to fund the current project, to me, that's a 1-2 punch, and then it opens up the door for us to do new projects, after that.
Okay, so what I'm.
Just a suggestion.
So what I'm hearing you say is maybe come to the July 2nd meeting, asking permission for both?
No, not necessarily, because I literally just got that at 2 o'clock
I don't
today.
think we can work that one up.
So I think we need to research that and figure that out. But as we're considering, we have to figure out what that grant even provides.
Well,
Yeah, and I'd be happy to look into it.
I would appreciate, we're going to turn that over to our grant expert here. He's going out of the country, for a while, but we can get it done by August 31st.
I would think so.
Yeah.
We definitely bring it to the council first week of August. We'll have our meeting in July. And
We'll have to look into what they mean by disadvantaged areas.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea if we could apply this to the tree planting program, but that is all over Manistee, so then we would have to say that the whole Manistee, city of Manistee is disadvantaged.
Well, that's exactly right. We have to look to see if, as a community, we would be considered disadvantaged.
Yeah.
Or if they would look at neighborhoods
Yeah.
and look at a disadvantaged neighborhood. And, you know, if that area did qualify, just as an example, you guys had talked about planning along Ramsdale Street, Fifth Street, and, you know, continuing on with kind of the project you just recommended on Kosciuszko. So we just need to read into what the program is and find out
Yeah.
what the parameters are first.
Yeah.
You know, just a little thought, you know, after I was reading some of the stuff and so on, and listening to what you talked about on Jenny and so on, and she was talking about 8th Street and like 27 trees. Out of curiosity, I just took a ride down there and some of the other areas, and you can very easily put 27 trees on 8th Street from 31 going east.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other spaces around there, even on this side of the 31. You just count up all the vacant areas on lots and so on, where trees have probably been removed over the years, never replanted. There's a lot of spots open, and I bet you can easily dump 500 trees in Manistee city limits without even noticing them.
Yeah, so this is.
Yeah, we need to-
opportunity,
Get it started, yeah.
us to see if we can get money to, what, Jeff, top of your head, we planted 44 trees last year, $400 a piece? That's 16,000.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably just under 20,000. I think it was 18, isn't that what we've got billed?
Yeah, because, you know, you gotta count, you know, what it takes your people to plan, you know, the cost. Yeah.
It was probably about 15,000.
So we could do another, if we could do at least another 100 trees, if we could get,
Well, this, I'm just reading it now, this DNR is much wider, it looks like. We could include data collection, plan development,
yep,
tree planting and maintenance too, engagement and outreach, training and workforce development, food forest, wood utilization, more. So,
Yeah, I mean, as we read into this, potentially, it could fund some of the cutting that and trimming that we do. It could fund some of the planting that we do. It could fund some initiatives. It could fund some education. So we need to kind of study that and come up with some ideas and,
and again, it could help, not necessarily we need funding, but we could be talking about our tree inventory project.
you could fund that,
Just
absolutely.
adds to that.
Yes.
yeah.
So I would suggest that we kind of look into that, try to get more information on it, discuss it at your July meeting, and then there's certainly time to probably even have your August meeting, and then, I mean, potentially it could be on the second agenda item in August and still meet the deadline, but we can kind of work backwards from there.
Great, is there any other discussion on this? Viter, quick, okay, now, any other new business discussion before I move on?
No.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for July 8th, Monday, July 8th. That's the second Monday of the month. Viter, can you be here?
Yes.
You are going to be here then? Good.
Let me just confirm that though. Yeah, the Monday, the 8th,
Yep.
yeah.
Wonderful. I want to tell you how much I appreciate everybody's flexibility in meeting today. I mean, it would have been impossible for me to make the meeting last Monday, and stuff comes up, family. You know, my sister passed away and unexpectedly, so my life has been a little bit crazy. So I really appreciate you being flexible. So our next meeting will be at 5 o'clock, Monday, July 8th, right here.
Okay.
And has anybody got any suggestions for any agenda items before we close today? Anything that you really want to talk about other than what we're working on with the grants? I think our grant work is really critical and important. So,
I would personally like to thank the commission for the quick reviews and, of the trees down at First Street Beach that,
oh,
when everything leafed out, there were some that just didn't want to do it anymore. And we've got those cut down and cleaned out of there, and I think it was a safety issue, but I appreciate the quick turnaround.
no, you guys all do great. Katie sends it to me and I just farm it out. You guys are doing great work. Thank you. Other than that, I'm going to call the meeting
No,
adjourned.
I'm just gonna say one
Oh,
thing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just a thought here. I just want to thank Katie and Jeff there because we've been talking about maple tree galls. You know,
Okay.
which has been attacking some of the trees, the maple trees, the new plant ones around here. And there was a lady that called me to take a look at her tree, and we had some other stuff over there, and I gave her the information and so on, and looked at her tree, and I said, I think your tree's gonna make it, so I hope it does, but it looks like it does. But we do have a problem with some of those summer, autumn trees, I think, that's coming down the road here. So just to comment on the trees that we're suggesting here, when we get down to that final step, we may want to take a look at and just substitute perhaps the red maple versus the summer, autumn tree, something which is a hybrid tree
Okay. We can certainly do that.
down the road.
Absolutely. Okay. That's it. Thank you.